Today is August 2nd, and we got rain out here today. It's cloudy once again. It was sunny just a little bit ago, but like I said, but anyway, I hope everybody's doing good. We have we have the Earth coming open in Finland. We have fires going on out in California, and we have flood and rains happening all up and down the East Coast. It makes you wonder if someone's controlling the weather. That's a good way how to do it, and then try to ruin everybody, ruin all the crops, just to make food go sky high, to create to make scarcities, and then also to make people move into these coffin-like apartments they've been talking about, that are like and these trendy like things. They're trying to make a trend where it's about the size of a bathroom, and I don't want to live in an apartment that's a bathroom. I like my apartment where I'm at, where it's about 1,000 feet. I like that. I don't want to be living in the 250 feet square foot apartment. Also, over in another country, they have actually closed. Actually, a lot of churches had to close their doors, like thousands of churches, and it's not here in the United States. But if they change the laws here in America, it could be like that. Lisa Haven had an article on that. You might want to look at that, talking about how they had to close churches and how they have made up all these different weird kind of stipulations just to have all the more reason to close them, because they don't meet the criteria of an entrance being a certain way, or the distance of the bathrooms. Were some of the reasons why the churches were closed, or some of the professor or some of the preachers there at the churches didn't have a theological degree, which really doesn't matter, really. I mean, if you have one, that's great. I mean, I have education in the Bible, but I know preachers that are preaching that don't have those things, and they do just as fine of a job as someone that went to school and went to seminary. So, like I said, it all depends on what you got in here in that heart, because that's where it all comes from anyway. So if you preach, whether you have a theological degree, that's good if you have it, but if you don't, you're just as good. And I don't know why it has to be a stipulation, but they made it a stipulation there in Thailand, and so a lot of churches had to close. I think it was Thailand where this recently happened, and then they removed, like what we do here in America. They remove a lot of religious. They won't let pastors speak like they do here, like they did there. They removed biblical stuff out of the preamble, just like we're removing stuff out of the Constitution here in the United States that's religious in nature. And then they also removed things out of their courts and out of their public schools. They moved religious things like the Ten Commandments and other religious things that would deal with that. And why is it all right for radical Islam to persecute Christians and have pictures of them being killed on videos on Facebook and YouTube, and be able to persecute Christians and hanging them or whatever they do, but yet why is it all right for them to persecute Christians, but yet we're not supposed to persecute other people's beliefs because of what they believe? But why does Islam get away with it? Why are they getting away with it? Can someone tell me or leave me a comment to let me understand why this is happening? Because where I come from, I don't care if you're Islam or you're Christian or you're Jew or you're Catholic. Whatever you believe is your belief. Now, I may not agree with you, but I'm not going to persecute you or put you to death over it. But the Islam seems to like to do that to Christian faiths, and they don't have an affiliation. They just go after everybody because they consider everybody, if you're Islam, an infidel if you're not a part of their faith. So it makes you wonder, why are they allowed to do this, and all over the world? Why are they allowed to do this in much places, in most of these Muslim countries especially? But if they get their way, they'll be able to do that precedence everywhere. And that's what I mean. It's going to come worldwide. Why are they allowed to do that when yet they're no different than Christians, standing up for what they believe? We're not going around killing them, and nor would we, because that would not be godly, because that would be committing murder. That's one of the Ten Commandments. We're not supposed to commit murder. Just because we have religious indifferences, doesn't mean we go out and kill people or consider other people of other faiths as being an enemy or infidel, like the Muslims believe. If you're not a part of them or you're not a Muslim, then you're an infidel. So they go out and deport you and hang you or kill you or cut off one of your limbs. That's what it says in the Quran to do. And These aren't just extreme Muslims doing this. This is what all the Muslims follow, because that's all taught in the Quran and the book that they read. So, it lets you know, not, where I come from, persecution of any kind is not tolerated. It's not allowed. It should not happen. And we can have differences, and we may not like each other. We may not like our beliefs. We may not like where we come from, but we have no right to kill people because our beliefs are different from theirs, or vice versa. And that includes Muslims. They don't have the right to do it here or anywhere. They shouldn't be doing it either. But in radical Islam, what they learn, all Muslims do this, and in most places of the world they do it. So, can someone tell me why this is happening and why they're allowed to do that when yet they actually commit murder every time they kill somebody? Can someone let me know why they're allowed to get away with it, and why they're allowed to beat and kill their wives just because they don't want to wear a burqa or because the burqa falls off? I mean, it's ridiculous. It's insane. I mean, it kind of looks like they're bandits anyway when they put on the burqas anyway. It makes it look like they're going to, come and rob us, or maybe they're a burglar. You don't know what's underneath that burqa. But you know what I'm saying? Why do they have to make it such a hard point on everybody else that to make a requirement to wear a burqa? It's silly. And that may be their belief system, and maybe that's what they do in their belief system, but it's not what they should try to tell young girls all around the world, that they have to wear burqas, too. Otherwise, they'll be treated that way. And that's what they're trying to push out. And, that's what they're trying to tell people in like Europe and other places in the world, in Africa, that it's all right to get with an underage girl and marry them and have a kid by them. And it's not all right, because it's pedophilia, and it's wrong. So, Muslims are doing all this stuff, and I think a lot of times we just stay quiet and don't talk about it when we should be talking about it. We should be educating our churches about it, and we should be sharing this stuff, because this is what these atrocities of this crime of against humanity and nature is going on with these Muslims going in and doing this stuff, and a lot of all over the world, and many other Muslim countries especially, is where a lot of this is going on. If they could do it globally, believe me, when their religion, if it takes a global affiliation, they will force this worldwide, because that's why they do it predominantly in their country, because that's what they were taught and that's what they believe is right. And it's not right, because killing people because they have differences of faith of you is wrong. But according to the Quran, it's perfectly okay, because that's what they believe. Just like Muslims kill their wives, they can kill their wives and get away with it under Sharia law. Under Sharia law, that's what they can do, is actually kill and beat their wives, and according to their laws, nothing happens to them. But in America, under our laws, they're different, because something will happen to you. You'll be locked up. So, but I don't know, if they're Muslim, they got influence or power. They might get away with it here, with the way things are so crooked around here in the United States. The laws that are supposed to protect you don't always protect you when you're innocent, because a lot of times the way they're written, they're two-sided. And it seems like it helps the people that are really doing the criminal or the crime more so than it helps a good person like you that's righteous. But, it seems like it goes, the wrong way, the way a lot of things are going now in America too. So, I just hope I'm wrong about this. But, what do you all think about that? We should love each other. I love Muslims, and I get along with them as long as they get along with me, and that's my motto with all people. Because we all got to learn to get along with each other. We don't have to agree. We don't have to believe the same, but killing people is not the answer. That's not, right on any level. I don't care what faith you are. Even if your faith says it's okay to do it, it's still wrong. Because, you have to have what is called common sense and decency about your fellow man. You don't have to agree. You don't have to respect them. You don't even have to like them, or even talk to them. But killing someone because they don't believe the same way as you is so ridiculous and so inhumane, and it's just plain wrong. And you don't even have to know the Ten Commandments to realize that. You're humane. Even if you're Muslim, you should understand that. Even if your beliefs tell you otherwise, because it's criminal, it's wrong, it's murder. And it doesn't matter what your religion system says, but it's what your moral code should say, your compass. And even without knowing that it's wrong, you should already know fundamentally it's wrong, because you wouldn't want somebody to come after your family and kill them just because they're Muslim. Well, that's how you're doing everyone else who's Christian or Otherwise, it's not a Muslim, and that's totally wrong. So, that's how we need to learn and grow up and stop acting, going by what we believe, because what we believe doesn't mean that's what's going to get us, to heaven. Of course, I don't even know if they go to heaven when they die. I mean, they call places sort of like heaven, but I don't know if it's the same like the heaven we know about, what the Bible talks about. I mean, they have a different place what they call paradise or something. And they think they're going to be, they say they may be up with Allah when they die. But it doesn't say a sure thing that if they do all these things that possibly they'll be with Allah when they die. It doesn't really say exactly a yes. Well, with Jesus, it says if you do these things, it says you will be with Jesus in heaven. You will come out of paradise and go to heaven. And, that's a more, I would say, more guarantee, but I don't know. But, I go by what Jesus says because it seems to be the one that really says a sure thing. It's not a maybe or a might or a not, of uncertainty. I would go by, when I die, if I'm doing right and living my life righteously, then I know I'm going to go to heaven, and there's no question about that. And that's how we have to look at these things. But, let me know what you think down below in the comments, and why can Muslims kill a bunch of other people, and why do they get away with it? And a bunch of countries, especially Muslim countries, and why they want to try to adopt this motto all worldwide. And why is it no one talking about it in churches? Why aren't we speaking about and teaching this in the Church of Christ? Why aren't we having this discussion? But anyway, let me know. But anyway, just a lot of different things going on in the world. Like I said, I don't know if the Earth is expanding. It could be frequencies, these low military wave tests that they've been doing. Could be what's causing the Earth to break open because they're tapping into frequencies that are altering the balance of the climate. It may not be the Earth is expanding at all. Like I said in one video, I said that's a possibility. That's what I always said. I never said that's exactly what's happening, but it could be. But it also could also be, which I didn't say this, which I want to include today in this video as an update to what I said, to expound on a little more. It could be frequency modulation, which could be destroying the Earth. It could be tied in with what CERN is doing. Remember they got these two gods in Scotland. They have the biggest CERN that's on site there outside of Scotland. I think it's in Finland. No, Scotland. And right there they have two gods, and one of them is a god of destruction. And, maybe this could be what's causing all the Earth to crack and split open prematurely, because all the frequencies and all the stuff that they're doing with CERN, it may actually be affecting the balance of the planet. And, it could be also all this weather modification could be playing another role in how they're shooting billions of watts of power up into the stratosphere to create rain, or trying to change the weather, or trying to stop rain, or to heat up the atmosphere, or to cool it down, or whatever they're trying to do. But with all this stuff happening, why do that? Because it's ruining the balance of this planet. And if it ruins the balance of it too much, it's going to cause an end accidentally to all life, including our life. So even the elites will be dead too. So the thing is, with all the solar shield and all, how do we know if that really is helping anything or not? I mean, to me, I don't think it's helping anything when you try to play God and try to create an illusion, to make the sun white with chemtrails and to manipulate the weather. I mean, it is a perfect warfare tactic to have all these fires in 8+ states out west. And then we have all this slew of flooding rains in certain pockets of the area up and around the East Coast. It goes all the way from Georgia all the way up to New York, and even into some places in Alaska even, or I could say Canada, not Alaska, but Canada. And there's even some, fires going on up in some places in Alaska. So, I mean, that ought to tell you something. But anyway, just let me know what you're thinking. This is In the News Update. Take care, everyone. I love you. Peace out.